Carl Jung said, "Awaken and shine your light for others to follow. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." This is an invitation to move differently in the world, to operate from a place of deep knowing and alignment. I'm Adrienne McDonald, and welcome to the Source Code Podcast. Let's dive in. Hello, beautiful humans, and welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time. Grab a cozy beverage and let's get into it. Today we're going to talk about freedom. We're now the sun's in Human Design Gate 55, and it's known as one of the most transformative and pivotal gates of the entire system, because the gate isn't just about personal freedom, it's about collective evolution. And the Gene Keys 55 speaks to a massive shift in human consciousness, one that moves us from a state of victimhood and control to one of trust and surrender and deep embodied freedom. But let's be real, freedom isn't always easy. In fact, we like to get in our own way. We are often in our own way, not because we're weak or unworthy, but because we cling to patterns of doubt and fear and distraction. It keeps us on the drama triangle, and you aren't free if you're on the drama triangle. Now, I've done a couple of episodes already about the drama triangle, so we're going to look at this a little bit differently today. Today, we're going to not look only at what Gate 55 represents, but what keeps us from true freedom, and more specifically, how doubt can become a mental loop that pulls us away from that deeper work that we're here to do. So Gate 55 is called the Gate of Spirit, or sometimes it's referred to as the Gate of Abundance, but not in the way that you typically think about abundance, or at least not in the personal development field. This is not just about accumulating more. It's about trusting in the unseen, knowing that true security comes from within, not from external circumstances. But what makes Gate 55 so significant, it's considered, like I said, that pivotal gate in human revolution. According to Richard Rudd, the creator of the Gene Keys, Gate 55 marks a turning point in our species, one where fear-based survival patterns are giving way to a new level of consciousness. The old paradigm of scarcity and struggle and control slowly dissolving, making space for something entirely different: surrender, emotional intelligence, and trust in the universe, or trust in life itself. And yet, as we move towards this shift, we are seeing the chaos and resistance that comes with any major transformation. And I think this is why a lot of people don't talk as much about Gate 55 in this way, or they have a very airy-fairy type of take on it, and because we're seeing so much chaos and resistance, and the collective mind is still conditioned to seek certainty, to grasp onto control, to fear the unknown. I mean, but I totally get that. I've got moments of that myself. And one of the biggest barriers to this new level of freedom is doubt. Now, I've got Gate 63, which is the gate of doubt, and I've got it in my Mercury placement. So I've seen firsthand how easy it is to fall into the mental loop of questioning everything. I would say that I have a master level of understanding that. But doubt isn't inherently bad when you're using it correctly. That can be the shadow side. It's a tool for discernment, for testing ideas, for refining understanding. Because the gift in Gate 63 is inquiry. But when doubt becomes excessive, or when you're obsessing over it, it turns into a distraction. And that's what I want you to reflect on. I want you to ask yourself, is doubt helping you, or is it keeping you stuck? Because sometimes doubt is just fear in disguise. You doubt your next step, so you keep researching instead of taking action. Hello, I feel seen. You doubt your gifts, so you stay small instead of sharing them. Again, I feel seen. You doubt you're ready, so you put off the work that actually matters, or you self-sabotage yourself. Again, I feel seen. Doubt can feel like thinking a lot of the times, but it's actually avoidance as a way to delay stepping into your power, a way of delaying stepping into your gift, a way to stay quote unquote safe while convincing yourself you're just being thorough. But the truth is, you're waiting for total certainty before moving forward. And if you wait for total certainty before moving forward, you're always going to be waiting. So let's bring in some nuanced thinking here, because I'm not saying that you should ignore doubt altogether. I don't believe in, bypassing your critical mind. I know that when I talk about human design and the gene keys and intuition, it's about trusting the wisdom that's in your body, and that is very much true. But to go into this completely bypassing the mind, it's not a practical solution. We have a mind for a reason as well. But I do believe that we can learn to hold doubt differently, to use it as a tool rather than a crutch. And instead of falling into black and white thinking, either doubting everything or blindly trusting everything, you got to ask yourself, is this doubt leading me towards greater clarity, or is it keeping me stuck? Am I overanalyzing as a way to avoid taking action? What if I could just trust myself just 10% more, like the whole baby steps thing? Because freedom isn't about eliminating doubt. It's about learning to trust yourself even in the midst of uncertainty. And how does this come back to Gate 55? Well, Gate 55 is all about abundance, yes, but more than that, it's about learning to let go. It's about learning to let go specifically of control. It asks, what is the thing that you're trying to control? And asking yourself, what if the thing you're trying to control is actually the very thing keeping you stuck? It's an invitation to step beyond the mental loops of doubt, beyond the fear of the unknown, and into something softer, deeper, more powerful, a trust that goes beyond the mind, beyond logic, beyond needing guarantees. And this doesn't mean inaction, and it doesn't mean passivity. Passivity? Yes. It means learning to take the leap before you see the net. It's about faith. Not because you know exactly how it's going to work out, but because deep down you trust that you were built to do something bigger. That you were, if you jump off that mountain, that you're going to be able to fly. Or the universe is going to catch you. So here's what I want you to take away today. I'm going to go through each profile line about how this can sort of show up and maybe, a challenge, a distraction, and the pathway to freedom. And then I'm going to give you some reflective questions. So, line 1, the challenge can be that doubt shows up in an endless search for certainty. And you may feel the need to research and analyze and know enough before trusting the unknown. And a distraction could look like over-researching that can keep you in fear-based patterns instead of stepping into the real experience. Now, the path to freedom there is that true security doesn't come from external knowledge, but from, developing that inner foundation of trust. This is why I harp on the ironclad self-trust. You can lean into self-study, but don't let it stop you from taking those intuitive leaps. An affirmation for line 1 can be, I trust that I don't need all the answers before I take the first step. Now, line 2, I Challenge can be doubt can creep in when you start questioning whether your natural gifts are enough. If recognition doesn't come easily, you may second guess yourself. A distraction can be overthinking your talents or waiting for the perfect invitation instead of trusting that your gifts shine most when shared freely, when you're not thinking about it. And the path to freedom can be the more you let go of needing external validation, the more ease and abundance you allow in. Move with what feels natural instead of forcing things and trying to force clarity. And an affirmation can be, I allow my gifts to flow without overthinking about how they will be received. Line 3. Hello, fellow line 3 people out there. Challenge can be doubt may show up as fear of failure or a resistance of repeating past mistakes. You may hesitate before jumping into something new, wondering if it's, quote, worth the risk. Distraction, overanalyzing failures instead of learning and moving forward. Doubt keeps you stuck when you start believing the setbacks mean you're off track. Let me say that again for all us line 3s out there. Doubt keeps you stuck when you start believing that the setbacks mean you're off track. I feel seen. Path to freedom. Your wisdom comes through lived experience. Freedom is in the trying, not just the outcome. Keep moving and trust that each step adds to your mastery. And an affirmation can be, every experience is shaping me. I embrace the unknown as part of my evolution. And it's also, it helps build that intuition muscle. Line 4, challenge. Doubt can show up in relationships, wondering if you're being fully supportive, if others will accept your vision, or if you can trust in collaboration. And a distraction could be that you're holding back from meaningful connections out of fear of rejection or trying to control the outcome of relationships instead of trusting in natural alignments. Now, your path to freedom is the key to heart-led connection is not forced strategy. The more you trust in energetic reciprocity, the more you attract the right people into your world. And an affirmation can be, I trust the right connection will naturally align when I show up as my true self. Line 5. Hello, fellow line 5 people. The challenge can be, doubt can arise from the fear of being misunderstood or misperceived. You may question whether you're truly making an impact or if others see your depth. And a distraction could look like trying to control how other people perceive you. The fear of criticism or failure to meet expectations can lead to hesitation into, say, fully stepping into leadership. It can also really increase the feeling of the need to control. The path to freedom is, true freedom comes when you release the need to manage perceptions. You're here to shake things up, and not everybody's going to get it, but the right people will. And an affirmation can be, I trust that my impact is felt even when I can't immediately see the results. Line 6. The challenge could be, doubt may arise when you're in a transition phase, especially during the first 30 years, around the midlife shift. You may question if you're truly embodying the wisdom you feel called to share, because that usually happens later in life. And a distraction could be comparing your journey to others, feeling like you should have it already figured out, or that you're hesitating to step into your mentorship role due to lingering uncertainty after the age of 50. And your path to freedom is, your wisdom comes through cycles of experience. The more you trust your natural unfolding, the more aligned you become. The more you're here to embody the wisdom, not to rush it. And an affirmation could be, I embrace my path with patience and trust that wisdom will emerge with perfect timing. Now, here's a couple of reflective questions for everybody. Notice where doubt is showing up in your life. And is it healthy discernment, or is it keeping you in that endless loop? Number 2, Ask yourself, where am I avoiding by staying in doubt? And maybe it's an action, maybe it's visibility, maybe it's allowing yourself to trust something bigger than your own mind. And number 3, practice shifting from doubt to possibility. Instead of saying, what if this goes wrong? What if this goes right? Instead of what if I fail? What if this is exactly what I need to grow? And also, what am I trying to manage? What am I trying to control? And what would it look like if I just let go? And so the transition of 55 is a reminder that freedom isn't about controlling everything. It's about trusting that you don't have to. So what would true freedom look like for you? Where are you waiting for certainty before trusting yourself? And how is doubt keeping you from the work you're here to do? What if you had already everything you needed to take that next step? What would that next step be? Now, to help you with this, if you have not grabbed my free deconditioning guide, the link will be in the show notes. The deconditioning guide helps. It helps with curbing that doubt. Now, no matter what your profile line, doubt is part of the human experience. We know this. But when you recognize it as a tool rather than a limitation, you can start to shift out of fear and into freedom. And I also want to share something that has really stuck with me that my shamanic teacher, Rhonda McCrimmon, she is out of the Center for Shamanism in the UK. She had a newsletter the other day. And remember when we talked about how we're seeing chaos and resistance that comes with any major transformation, that collective mind is still conditioned to seek certainty, to grasp onto control, to fear the unknown. Well, what she said really has stuck with me. She described it getting sucked in by the news cycles. And this was years ago for her. And her guides gave her a pretty stern message. They said, they told me to shift. I could no longer flood my life with events or news stories that drained my energy and turned me away from my path. My guides explained that my attention enables me to perceive the universe's signs and synchronicities. If I focused on energy-draining things, I wouldn't be able to hear their guidance. I wouldn't recognize the call of spirit, which is what the negative forces want, to keep me in despair, fear, and disconnection. And I would add doubt. I would add, in the shadow state, doubt is an entryway to keeping people in that state. And we see a lot of stuff on social media right now about a lot of different things. There's a lot of stuff that's going on in the world. And if it's your path to deal with those things, then you will know it. But if you are focused on energy draining things, you are not going to be able to hear the guidance. You're not going to be able to tap into your intuition. And that is definitely something to think about. It's really been weighing on my mind. So, what insight resonated with you the most? I would love to hear about your reflections. Find me on Instagram or Facebook. DM me. And if you really enjoyed today's episode, please share it out. And until next time, trust yourself, trust the process, trust that your freedom is already within you. And remember to find beauty every day and seek the magic in the mundane. Thank you for listening to the Source Code Podcast. If you found this episode insightful and feel moved to, please leave a review and share it out with those you believe will find it helpful. You can check out my website for more information at www.adrianmcdonald.com. And for more of my more regular musings, connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn. I hope you have a beautiful week.